Welcome to Vision Profiles Podcast. Join us, dedicated Apple Vision Pro users, as we dive into everything from hardware and software to apps and the latest updates in the world of Apple Vision Pro. I'm Marty Gensius, a faculty member at a Midwest university, podcaster, and an Apple product fan.
And I'm Eric Bolden. I worked in IT, but my interest is in finding interesting ways to share content. Currently, photography of plants, trees, birds, water, and panoramic sequences.
And I'm Dave Ginsberg, the host of the In Touch with iOS podcast, with a deep passion for technology, especially Apple, and how it's used in real-world environments. As an IT professional and iPhone subject matter expert, I'm continually discovering new ways that Apple Vision Pro is shaping the future of computing.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, chat room. You can find us at youtube.com/@visionprofiles and join comments in the chat room and questions or anything that we can add to it. How is everybody doing? I mean, I've got some stories to tell, but how was everybody's weekend? Anything new with devices? Damn Apple, they have not given us new products for me to purchase. So
Same.
Yeah.
You're gonna regret saying that because soon there will be so many products and not enough
You're
time.
maxing out that Apple card.
Well, the irony is I've been using the Apple Card more because I can manage it and I don't have to deal with multiple cards.
Right.
And I have managed to continue to regularly pay that thing off. And I've paid off all of the Apple devices that I had on installment with anticipation something will be coming up. And I haven't had to dip into my secret Apple stash. So that is still there and it's available for me to use. I was in Chicago this weekend, drove there from Northeast Ohio, and so it was a 6-hour drive. Presented at a conference, and they had me do a pre-conference workshop, and they wanted something on AR and VR. So I figured it meant bringing a lot of my technology with me. And so I brought 5 different headsets, 2 of them Apple Vision Pros. And I'll tell you, when we do things like that at MacStock, it's great to have other people around who know how to help. But in my case, I was running that as a one-person show, and it was a bit chaotic. And things managed to work fine. I managed to get things around. With all the other devices, you can kind of plop them on somebody's head, and if they can figure out how to do it. With Apple Vision Pro, you've got to set it up as a guest, which has gotten a lot easier.
Yep.
But still, it requires me to sign in or to iris in, I guess, each time I do it. Folks seem to get it. They seem to enjoy it. With Vision Pro, they were mainly kind of doing trip and doing sort of meditation apps with it. And they seem to enjoy that and enjoy that experience. So it worked out well. I kind of took people through the history of sort of online chats and from chatbots to chat rooms to Second Life and the AR VR sort of stuff, and then into AR VR headsets. So that was quite a tiring workshop. It was 3 hours. And then, had a couple of other presentations on AI through the conference on the other days. Had a great time with my relatives. Dave, we went out to a place called 1,000 Tales. It was a Turkish restaurant.
It's Mediterranean. It's right near my house.
Yeah, and I went to the.
I was right near you too. I mean, that's about as close.
Well, we went to the bazaar next door, and I did a lot of trips to Turkey, so it was just fun going in there. And I purchased all sorts of food to bring back, and it was convenient because we were driving. So We had a nice time. And I figured you were busy like finding things and packing things and stuff like that. So now
I was home.
we'll be in for some Cubs games coming up in the spring, and I'll connect with you then, and we'll do a
Yep.
restaurant or something around the
That
area.
that
But
place
let's
used to be my favorite hibachi place until they went
really,
out of business. It was there for like 30 years. Yep, until they closed down.
and
Sadly,
then it got opened as a Turkish place.
yeah, they
Yeah.
took it over and built a whole new place. It was called the Kampai.
Hmm.
Nice.
Well, that's cool. That's very cool. So let's talk about Apple Vision stuff, okay? I don't know. I put my headset on first time. I had it on like Friday for the workshop, and then put it on today to try and get Retrocade going, and noticed that I had an update. So I don't know if I missed it or if there was a new update. Basically, I put the link in. I put it in as the RC, so it might have been the RC that came
Was
through. Yeah,
it's the RCs are generally don't say they're RC. That's it's to be assumed that it's going to be the final version of
yeah,
that version. So 26.3 in this case. Same thing happens on the iPhone, iPad. They do the
yeah,
same thing. But then if they come
yeah,
out another ice like RC2, it'll do the same thing. So
yeah. Okay. So not much there to talk about. I do have the link in the show notes for folks who want to go and look at the developer notes about that. And instead of starting off or delaying the inevitable, decided to start with patents. We don't have a lot of patents to go on, but we do have a couple of them, both focused on eye tracking and interesting things about eye tracking. So, this split level cadence eye tracking for low power AR glasses seems interesting. It describes it as a split cadence level tracking system where different eye tracking functions run on different refresh rates. So you have a high frequency tracking used only when needed for gaze based interaction, while low frequency tracking handles background awareness. The approach is designed dramatically to reduce power consumption. So think about this for Vision Pro, think about this for future glasses. It's a strong signal that Apple is optimizing eye tracking for lightweight, all day wearable form factors. So, and it has some interesting diagrams of what that looks like if you want to get into the figures. We'll, of course, have the links for this in the show notes. The next one is Apple reinvents eye tracking with laser based SMI technology. I think what's exciting about this one is that the patent outlines a laser based tracking version, but it could reduce reliance on power hungry camera arrays. So, in the Vision Pro, we have a whole series of cameras to do that. This, I think, is particularly suited for the glasses and the glasses situation. So, again, figures on that and how that will work. Some of the figures are a little scary uh, if you look at the diagrams, but we have the link in there. The inventors are listed here as the optical scientist Zibin Zhao, and then health sensing engineer, and also an optical sensing engineer that are part of the group. So I don't know. Collectively, those are the two Apple patents that we have. If you have any suggestions or thoughts about that.
Well, it's interesting that in both cases, they let you mix technologies to balance power consumption with accuracy. So they're still concerned with making sure the eye tracking feels responsive and hits targets, yet being able to turn off the extra accurate cameras to have faster response and lower power consumption. Yeah, it's definitely getting ready for glasses, giving some options. Maybe at some point they'll have even lower precision glasses to really push accuracy. So it's neat to see.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's cool to see that you can see where they're going with this, and very thoughtful in terms of what they're doing to reduce the technology that's needed to put in a pair of glasses. I read something earlier this week that was more of a comment. It was like, oh, we heard so much about how Meta's going to make these great glasses that are going to be competition for Apple. And, the $10,000 Coke bottle bottom glasses that they showed and did a quick demo of. But the article was real pretty critical in the sense of, so what's the deal? We haven't heard anything on these. And it doesn't look like they are producing anything to change the structure of what they presented. And they haven't done anything in terms of information or patents that folks can tell. But Apple seems to be right out there with the patents and with things going. Want to acknowledge the folks in the chat room. We've got Cletus in. Hey, Cletus, and Steven Sims. We are going to talk about something they've been chatting about in the chat room. And it is the next set of articles that we have that are related to the new Retrocade. And this came out February 5th. Have about 4 or 5 articles in here about it. And it was something that I was real excited about. I think Steve Sims was saying he's looking forwards to our reactions about it. Thought it's really cool, is what he's saying in it. Have either of you tried this or gotten to the point of trying this?
I didn't. I missed that.
Yeah.
So I can't.
So
Definitely gonna try it.
yeah, and I've gone to try it a couple of times, but on the Vision Pro you can't open it without controllers. And I thought way back when they first started, briefly you could, but now you can't. So Marty, can you talk about what controllers you used?
Well, I only have one set of controllers. Well, I have other sets, but because I have a Switch and I presume that I could use that. And it was interesting because what I used were the PSV2R or R2 controllers.
Mm.
I don't like them. They're like big, hulky boxing gloves you put on. And the directions inside, once I was able to connect those, because I had to Bluetooth them to connect them, once I was able to connect them, the directions on the game seemed counter to what was on my PS2 hand controllers, because it was looking for the X, click the X to do this, click
Yep.
this to do that. And that's not how it is on the PS2. So I was a little surprised and a little disappointed. But then I went in, and maybe I will show a little clip of this if I can find it. One of these articles has it's this Gizmodo article. It's not so pleasantly, not very pleasant on it, but it does have a clip for about the Retrocade. So
Yes.
and you can't hear the music in here. This is one of the couple of videos that I've seen on here, and this just seems to be a non-narrated version of what it looks like. And I swear, there was no indication that there was a controller needed. So I kind of agree with you on that, Eric. That it's just a little strange that they have that kind of shows up as something that you need post
Yeah, and
hoc because
if you don't have one, attached, then when you go to play it, it says you need one to continue. So
yeah,
my guess is that they originally didn't require it, but there wasn't a high enough accuracy to play, and maybe they decided that they were just going to force that as a requirement. Because in the Gizmodo article, I believe it even talks about how you can play with the controls, and they make noise, but you can't use them in the game.
yeah, and he's apparently using a regular PS2 controller with it. I'm looking at on the video now. Oh, ironically, they also have the same company makes the pickleball one that folks were excited about, but then it turned into to need a
Controller.
it turned out to need the controllers. So I got the PSV2 R2 controllers, and like I said, it was pretty clunky in terms
Now
of getting it to work.
the Gizmodo article also talks a bit and links to another article about a giant kind of console controller that you can sit on a surface that has a range of buttons and controls, so
Yeah.
it's a lot closer to the old gaming arcades.
Mhm.
But I think it's like a $400 device. So I did not get that. Arcade 2 TV-XR.
Yeah, the video is real nice. I think what I'll do is maybe play around with it a little more, get into my living room because I play with it in my office, and I've got the only thing that fits in my office is my head, which is what you see on screen. Everything else around me is boxes of stuff that are out of screen. So I need to get into a larger room to play with it. Yeah, I mean it requires standing up to have interaction with it, really, because if you open it up and you're seated, it's not going to work well for you. So some comments in here. Go to the USA Arcade once you're in the game, and you'll be transported back to 1984. I got married
Nice.
in 1984. Could you transport me back to like 1982? I was running wild in 1982. I wasn't spending any time in an arcade, I'll tell you that. But there are, there's some possibilities with this. Cletus saying I spent enough quarters to buy an Apple computer back in the day. So yeah. So some cool articles, as we mentioned, the one by GameBeat, and GamesBeat, and they do some good information on that. Multicore, Retrocade turns the Vision Pro into a convincing virtual arcade. The Gizmodo article that is kind of it's fair. Could not provide me the fake arcade of my dreams. And then pretty informative, this article by techblog.com that gives you some good video within it. So yeah, that's Retrocade. And maybe, I don't know, Dave, if you have controllers
I don't.
of any sort. Maybe we get a shot and play with Retrocade a little more in the next week with it. But it looks so promising, and people who are into it are really into it. Yeah, Steven Sims says down to the scuff marks on the on the cabinets.
Cabinets.
Yeah.
Nice.
So fun stuff with that. Next article was a article that I like these practical applications, and this is one that I thought was a weird practical, not weird, but it was a stretch, but I could see it, and it was a article about Apple Vision Pro useful mixed augmented reality MR AR headset for archaeology. And this was from an article in Advances in Archaeology Practice, and they give some ups and downs on it. From an application standpoint, Apple's Vision Pro, this article evaluates the potential in archaeology, visualization, and education. It strengthens the 3D spatial understanding that goes on, and the artifact inspection that can happen, and also you can do reconstructions, immersive reconstructions. Limitations are the cost, of course, field portability. Do you want to take this thing out where there's a lot of dust and dirt flying around? And the battery life, and then integrating into the workflow. And I'm not exactly sure what they mean by that. It concludes that it's promising for labs, museums, and teaching, but not field ready in terms of its what it can do. It's described as a balanced article. It's a fair article, rather than, oh, look at what we can do, isn't this amazing, or this is really disappointing, shutting people down. So it's a good balance. Apparently, they're using the strap. If you're looking at some of the pictures that they have, they're not using the new strap. So some interesting things. Any thoughts, guys?
Yeah, it seemed like they were missing some opportunities. They did some discussion about how, it'd be nice to be able to take an object and see what a wall or a strata that had been excavated looked like, and hold the object in that space and compare it, but it didn't let you do that. And I think they're missing out on the fact that with a relatively inexpensive phone, you could take immersive images,
Huh.
like a whole series of them, and then later on come back with a Vision Pro and look at the different layers on the one hand, and then hold up the device, the object in your other hand, and kind of compare it. So not being field ready, yeah, I don't know if I would take a bunch of Vision Pros out in the field in some random spot, but to me it says that they should be taking a lot more immersive imagery while they're doing the work.
And then using it later in terms of training or development
Right.
is what you're
Because the
suggesting.
places, yeah, exactly. Because the places where we're seeing the Vision Pro work really well is in a documentary sense. Documenting something and letting you see it if you couldn't be there in person. Well, if you're excavating and changing what everything is, do a whole pile of documentation, a whole pile of images while you're doing it, and then go back and recreate. Maybe it's not quite what they're looking for, but they don't seem to be doing that. And since they're looking at a bunch of different headsets and trying to figure out how do you use them to, capture different stages, they should just be taking a whole crap ton of immersive images.
Yeah. Yeah. I figured this article was kind of up your alley, Eric, with the work that you did, and the field work that you kind of did with the device. So I'm glad you had those insights and those thoughts about it.
Yeah, it's nice to see them trying this, comparing it. You know, they have some good tables, but with the different devices, and once we have things like glasses coming out, I think there are a lot of possibilities there.
Yeah, and thanks to you guys for coming into my live demonstration when I was doing the workshop, because when I was doing it, I had my headset on and managed to get it to project up on the screen so people could see it. But like an hour before I did the workshop, I said, let's see if people want to sign up for the InSpace app, even if it's on their phone. And people got into it. I mean, even though they were only using their phone for that device. So trying to come up with applications with archaeology would have been easier for me than trying to come up with applications for counseling and group work. But it was loads of fun. And Cletus mentions it's great for preparing for field trips. So like, I guess watching mummy movies on it might have been what he's.
Or Waddle.
Yeah, Waddle. That's right. We're going to talk a little bit about Waddle later on, I think. But getting back to the controller issues, this story emerged that Apple is no longer selling the PlayStation VR2 Sense controllers for the Vision Pro. Frankly, these things are absolutely clumsy. I got them because that was the only thing that I knew was a controller, and just did not see any other options. That housing that they sit in for charging is almost impossible to get them to settle in. There's no, it seats in, and it's really difficult to get them to seat into the housing, so you're sure that you have a connection that's going to charge it. They should have just given me a plug, with it. It's kind of a mess. And if something bumps into it, they just shake out of the housing. So it's just not a lot of fun to be able to do this, use these things. And then the actual experience of using them is rather clumsy, because most of what you need to see is often covered by the plastic loop that goes over where your hand is. So you kind of have to look around this obstacle that's in your way if you're looking to use some of the points on the controller. So I was worried that this was just kind of not this kind of was not a actual truth. Well, before the show, I went into Apple.com to see if they had controllers. This article is basically saying it's currently unavailable. It's not saying Apple has made any decision to not sell them. It's just that they're currently unavailable for some reason. And sure enough, go into the Apple Store. They're both unavailable for pickup, or for delivery, or for pickup in the Apple Store currently. Who knows if that's going to change? Frankly, if I have to use controllers, I'd rather use something like what's on the Meta, or even what's on the Galaxy. They're you can see them right there. They're easy to hold in your hand. These things are just kind of weird. So who knows? Maybe I might try and see if I can hook up my Switch controllers. See if I can get a Bluetooth connection with that to the Vision Pro, and then go back in and check out Retrocade. So yeah, save your bucks. I mean, they work for they work for pickleball, but I haven't gotten them quite to work for Retrocade. Here's another article. We've seen them. This is more of an optimistic article. This comes from Stuff, which, sort of sounds like a soft porn magazine. And argues that Apple's real endgame is lightweight smart glasses, not headset iterations. Vision Pro is framed as a developer and technology bridge. Boy, they must have spent years solving this problem because we know that's what we know. Emphasizes Vision OS, eye tracking, and spatial UI as transferable foundations to other aspects of and other technologies. So nice of them to borrow pictures from Apple.
Yeah, why not?
And now they're speculating about Vision Pro 2 and when it'll launch. So then they really get into kind of speculative stuff with suggestions for them. So nothing to see here, folks.
Those are not the droids you're looking for.
Please move. Okay, so Eric, I'm pinning this on you, this next article. It was something that came up in Reddit. I think I saw it and I passed it by, or I didn't quite know what it was. And then you posted it to our chat. And I looked at it one day and I thought, oh, this is interesting. And then I did the workshop. And then I went back to it. But you're going to have to explain the optics, if you can, on how this sucker works. Because when I went back after the workshop to look at this article, it was when I clicked on it, it was basically the schematics of how to make these things with a 3D printer. So I was like, oh, this is great. I can make these. Now all I need to do is buy a $2,000 or whatever 3D printer so I can have these things, whatever they are, and will they work? So I'm kind of turning it over to you.
Yeah. So there were two versions of the article. One was, right, hey, I did this in a 3D printer, and you could too, but I'm not going to give you the plans. And then the other one was, hey, if you want to keep your Vision Pro from going to sleep so you could set it down and then put it back on again, we printed a bunch of these out, both as just the don't sleep part, which is basically if you kind of rub the center of your eye, but then in the headset, there's like a sensor that's there. If it's covered, the Vision Pro won't go to sleep. So if you stick your finger into the headset and then kind of hold it in the right spot, you can take your Vision Pro off, but it's not exactly precise doing it that way. All this does is cover up that sensor. While it's covered up, it thinks that it's still next to your eyeball. So you can do, and then they also have a cover so you can cover it so that you don't have a lens exposed to the elements, and you can cover and uncover it. But the idea is that you can authenticate to your Vision Pro so you can see something, slip the cover on, and then that will make it so it doesn't go to sleep. You can then take your Vision Pro off, set it down, and then use another camera to take pictures of what it's seeing, or to be able to hand it to somebody saying, hey, take a peek at this, and then hand it back. So if you have 2 or 3 people and you're just trading off back and forth, it won't recalibrate everything, but it's like being able to hand somebody a pair of binoculars. And it won't like turn off and then want to have you re-authenticate. It's if you're just continuing to use it. Some people seem to use it because their eyes get tired, or there's a phone call, or they have to talk to somebody in real life. They pull their Vision Pro off their head, and then it resets itself. Well, with this, it doesn't reset itself. You just set it on the desk with everything paused, hold your conversation, then put it back on again and continue. How well it works, I don't know. I've been just doing the poke my finger in and try and cover up the sensor, and it's been about a 10% good. So I ordered a set of these. I have no idea how long it'll take to get to me, but with
Especially
luck,
it's
by next week's
Japan, right?
show. Yeah, well,
No, I don't think so. I think
It
it
says
was like
where
yen.
is
Utah.
it?
Why the
Says it's
the
in
money said yen?
the.
Well, the
Well, it
one that
depends on
said
where you
yen,
go.
yeah,
It's
the
an
one that
Etsy
said yen
store.
was the you could buy the schematics, from what I could
Ah,
tell.
Yeah,
okay.
But there was a
yeah.
link further down, and there is a link in the article that we have posted at the bottom that takes you to the Etsy site where you can purchase them. I purchased them
Right.
white. Did you? What color did you purchase, Eric?
I think I got white because I wanted to be able to see it
See 'em, yeah, yeah.
and find it. But I purchased, and it was unclear if you only needed to get one or the other. So I actually got one of each and then
Yeah.
the covers. And I think you only need just the one side, and it keeps it from sleeping. I'm not 100% sure. I will find out. Hopefully by next week, I will have an
Yeah.
answer. But it solves a weird problem of being able to pass the Vision Pro back and forth between people without that delay to recalibrate and reset everything. Keeping in mind that you might not be able to see anything because if it's calibrated to somebody else, that could be a problem. But I think it's enough to have something in the screen.
Yeah. So
So
only hang out with people who have your same prescription, is what you're saying.
yeah, or where
Yeah.
everything in life is blurry anyway, and then it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And Dave, you're right. And I'm looking at this order page. Try and put both of the pages up so you can take a look at it for folks. They have a version of sets that you can get. And I got both. I went ahead and, because of the price, I think it totaled out to about $20.
Okay.
And 5 to 7 business days, made to order, shipping, tracked international shipping, Japan Post e-packet light.
See?
And so sometime
And and
if
and I wouldn't go with the plans. I would just go with the finished device from
oh
Etsy
yeah, yeah. I mean, I
because
have
that's
no
a U.S.
desire.
store.
Yeah, I have no desire to manufacture these things on
Yeah.
my own. So yeah, I was thinking about this immediately after doing that workshop, and that's why I went back in my room and punched the button on it and found that I didn't have to produce them myself. I could have them produced and went ahead and
Yeah.
bought it, and then thought about, who knows what's going to happen at MacStock if we're going to do this, do the show and tell again. But I thought about that immediately, that this would be maybe make that process easier. So interesting product. Yeah, Cletus is asking to share the link, and we'll have that in the show notes. But if you go to in the article, the original Reddit connection will be in there, and at the bottom of that is the link that took me to the Etsy page. For folks that might be interested in looking at that, I'll put both of those in. You guys have been back channeling me a bunch of stuff that I will put. First, I'll ask you if there's anything that's mission critical right now that you've been texting.
Oh,
The X arcade. Oh, is that the expensive panel?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I didn't know if you wanted to show that to people because it's a tabletop thing, so it's closer to being, in the old style arcade because you can put it up on a table and lean on it and hit the buttons so it feels closer.
The table kind of looks like it's an old Moog synthesizer table, with the angled.
Yeah, I don't think it comes with a table. I think they just threw it on that table which probably is a synthesizer one, but
But
there's
it
some
looks
comments
like
about
it's
throwing it on a counter or something. I think it's just a flat box.
it's a height adjustment table that they have it on.
Yeah, but
And
I
I'm
think you're
showing
right. I
this
think
in
that's a synthesizer table, but
as we talk about it for those who are listening to the audio portion of this, we're showing it in the video portion. And again, I'll put that. Thanks to Eric, I'll put that link in if you want to spend $400 for a controller. But you can take a look at it. It's a Gizmodo article, and then what was the other one here? Oh, the other one was the link to Etsy, which we talked about.
yeah.
So you'll have that available to you. Now this is designed. Is this the group that I bought it from? Oh no, this looks like this is the. If you want to do the, this is for the plans.
I thought that was the cap, because you can buy just the Don't Sleep, or you can buy the cover too.
Yeah, but these are file formats that are for 3D printing.
All right,
And
so
then
I'll have to go back and look then, because I had ordered the actual device.
Yeah,
or maybe
and
if you ordered it, put that link in, because
and I've got that link. And we were while you were talking, and you were doing beautiful narration about it and how it worked. I was going through pictures of it from the Etsy site that had the production that you could purchase these things from. So we'll make sure we'll have both of the links in if you want to 3D print it, or if you want to get it from somebody else already 3D printed. We'll make sure that that's in the site. It's nice to have Steve Sims, Craig Allenbach, and Cletus in the chat room. And we have other folks that are in the chat room and watching that are silent, but we're glad to have you along with that. Now let me find out where we were. This article. This goes to Eric also. I built a 3D geography app for the Vision Pro. Almost nobody uses it. What am I doing wrong?
So it's been interesting. There were a couple of conversations from developers posting on Reddit, basically looking for feedback about their apps. So I downloaded the geography app and paid for the country component. It's like $3 for countries and $3 for capitals and $2 for oceans. And it puts a globe up, but then it wants to quiz you about things and ask you, 18 questions or 24 questions or what. And really all I wanted is a globe where it doesn't have anything identified, but you can click on a country and it will then tell you what the name is. I wanted to do the reverse of what it was doing. It was saying, hey, here's a country, find it on the globe and click it. What I wanted was basically a globe, an interactive globe where you had the options of having everything labeled, or where you could then click on it and it would tell you, and then you could see if you got it right. And really, I'm only interested in, because if I'm reading a newspaper article or something else, I wanted a globe thing with countries labeled. And I don't want it always there, because I want to hopefully get better at identifying all the countries. That's not what you get. What you get is a globe with nothing labeled, and you can start a quiz, and it says, hey, here's this country. Can you find it on the globe? And I can just read the news to get hey, here's this country. Do you know where it is? And I get that all the time. What I want is the answers, and I want them listed. I liked the interface. You can drag it back and forth. You can touch it and poke it left and right. You could bring it closer, push it further away. all that works. You can click on a country and it highlights so you see the whole country outline. I really like that part. I just want to click on the globe and see information. I don't want it asking me questions and going back and forth, because I'm not trying to learn geography exactly that way. I want to learn it differently. So, almost everything is right, but I didn't want a quiz app. I wanted a resource.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So
if
you
you
want
download
to,
the app, you can give feedback back to the developer. Gives an email address, and then you could send feedback.
yeah. Well, here's a piece of feedback, developer. Maybe what you should do next time is get better pictures. I mean, when I go to the link that shows, they're like terribly fuzzy pictures. And I'm also thinking, Eric, what you're describing is accomplished by watching Animaniacs, and Yakko does all the countries. I'll put that link in because if you, Dave, do you know what reference I'm talking about?
I do not.
Okay, it's a cartoon where, and apparently Eric knows the reference because he's laughing. But there is a cartoon, Animaniacs, and they're the
Oh,
there. It was a Steven Spielberg cartoon. It was really kind of weird,
Hmm.
but it's one of those. It's one of those Bugs Bunny type things. The kids love it, and the
yeah.
adults get the jokes.
Yeah.
And Yakko sings the countries, and
Mm.
so I'll put that link in the show notes for folks who want to enjoy that. So yeah,
So,
it's get better pictures and just watch Yakko sing the countries, and you'll learn where
well,
they all are.
and for me, I mean, there are a lot of apps where you can't move the object around very easily. This one is easy. There's a little grab bar. You can shift it around.
Right.
You can rotate it. I don't need super good graphics because it looks okay on the globe. I just want the outline. So it accomplishes almost everything except when I click on a country, I want to know what the country is. I don't want to have to go through quizzes.
But you had to do in-app purchases to get that.
No, I could get everything without. I did the in-app purchase because I was hoping that if you did that, it would then give you a globe with answers. It doesn't. In fact, I'm not exactly sure what the in-app purchase is for, other than you can then get questioned on more things. I guess I could send more feedback saying, why would you ever pay for this? So don't pay for it. Download it. You can see everything I saw, and you can take a quiz without paying anything. But yeah. So maybe if you don't pay for it, it gives you the same quiz and you never get to all the countries. Who knows?
Yeah, or they give you bad information, which would make it
No,
even more
it
fun.
doesn't. It doesn't need to do that. It's succeeding already. So I mean, I like that somebody built something for the Vision Pro. I give
Yeah,
him credit for that. It's
I
not
love
doing what I
everybody who.
wanted.
Yeah, I love everybody who builds something for the Vision Pro, and
Yeah.
I respect developers who do that. And if you watch Reddit, you see people who are saying, "I just built this. Do you want to take a look at it?" They're proud of what they created in terms of a product, and
Yeah.
it's good to support them. Sometimes, if we're going to talk about it, I'll put a note in Reddit, say we're going to talk about it on the next Vision Profiles show, so they get a little bit of publicity and such. Because you got to encourage it, and
Yeah.
you find some fun stuff in the long
And
run.
this is an app that's existed for a little while. So
Yeah,
I think they really and truly are looking for feedback. Oddly enough, I've never heard of it until I
yeah,
saw it on Reddit. So
yeah,
posting the question worked.
yeah. Got one more person, and maybe some more people to take a look at it too. Okay, Eric, this I think is another you.
Yeah, and again, another developer who said, "Hey, I developed this Waddle app, which basically lets you. It's like Google Maps for the Vision Pro. So you click on the map and it takes you to the spot, and then you can look around and you're immersed in the spot, basically. And he's just trying to figure out how to get feedback and feature requests. And every time he mentions the program in Reddit or posts a question or says anything about it, he also posts a couple of free codes. Reddit's response seems to have been, "Hey, you post a couple of codes. They've always been used, and they get grumpy about it." I'm thinking, just pay for it. It's like $5. Um, so I don't know, but this time he was asking for other feedback. I find it is great if you are going to go to a place, you can put the address in, it drops you in, you could see kind of like I was able to see where my train station was, what was outside of this train station, and look around. It's relying on Google Maps. So if Google Maps hasn't been updated to reality, like someplace closed or something, you get what Google Maps has. But I could stand on the end of my driveway and see my mailbox. I could go to the local coffee shop and stand outside and see it, and see the flower shop across the street. So it's just really nice. I was able to see, let's see, where else did I go? Italy and France. And you can bounce around to a couple different countries. If you're reading a book and the book is located in a particular place, you can put the address in and stand around and look at what the author looked at as they were writing a scene. Really cool.
Yeah, Waddle has been doing a lot of, shall I say, promotion on
Yeah.
Reddit. They keep coming up with different ways, so they're really kind of using that community. I just put in the chat room, Yakko sings the countries. So for the folks who are in the chat room, and again, I'll post it as part of the show notes. But yeah, it's a must see. If you want to, they get through all of the countries of the world, I guess, at the time where as when they made the original video. So, and then I think this one is it. I don't know whose it is. This is something that either Eric or Dave shared.
Wasn't
And
me.
it was, I didn't expect this to work. And basically his goal was to play Smash Brothers Ultimate in an Apple Vision Pro without lag or having to use another Apple device. And it's a
Oh,
description
yeah,
on.
yeah. That was, I posted that one. And
Yeah.
it's interesting because it's what you ended up with in the end was a list of a couple different devices you can get, so that you could stream video HDMI video to the Vision Pro, and it also has a pass through to go to the TV, which means that the video stream could be shared between the TV and iPad and the Vision Pro all at the same time, with everybody seeing the same thing, so that if you're playing gaming or something and you've got a controller on somebody with an iPad and a controller Vision Pro and whatever, that everybody can see it with virtually no lag. So the response time was good on it. It worked. You could leave it in place because the TV would still get the signal if you weren't streaming it to Vision Pro. Let's see, where did they? I don't remember where they finally get to. Stuck on an ad. Really? Just skip the ad. Yeah, they talk about a USB-C to HDMI adapter that didn't work because there's too much lag, and then we're seeing right now the device that they found that did work. HDMI out, USB-C, so that you could hook like a switch into it or some other device into it and then stream back. It also would work for a PC. Plug that in, and then that would stream back to the Vision Pro. And there was an app for the Vision Pro to be able to watch that stream, but that app would also work on an iPad.
Yep.
So the video is worth watching. The list of devices is worth looking at. So it was interesting. And I guess I wasn't looking to play whatever game they were talking about, but being able to stream something so that more than one person can see it at the same time, that appealed to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Dave, you posted this, and I was curious about it and your reaction to this article. I wore the world's first HDR 10 smart glasses, and they can easily replace my living room TV.
Yeah, I found that to be a bit interesting, to say the least. I could see it happen. I think it's something that we're getting there. I don't know if it's 100% to a point where we're ready to move on from a TV, but we've got some possibilities. I think, as far as this goes. But yeah, it just caught my eye and thought that was interesting to see what they could do with it, whether it be glasses or an AR VR headset, or if it's something like that. I'm sure everybody would prefer it being glasses only because it's such lighter weight.
Yeah,
Compared to
76
the
grams.
yeah, so that's pretty amazing. So it's definitely something to think about for the future.
Yeah, it is. One model, the Air 4 model, is about $400
Yeah.
in China, and the Air 3S Pros cost about $300 in the US. So, yeah, interesting. I don't know. I have to check to see if you guys threw anything in apps. I only put in one app. Well, I put in Retrograde, but
Okay.
we've kind of talked about Retrograde to the degree that we were going to
Yeah.
talk about it and experience it. I put in one just because I was looking for what they said were new apps in Vision Pro. And I know this is one that we've covered before, but I thought it was kind of worth mentioning again, which was Hand Physics Lab. It's a lot of fun. You have to give it some time. What I mean by you have to give it some time is it's not that you're going to have a problem doing this stuff, so you have to build your skill level up to do it. But there's so many tasks that you can get into. And so, like, I just wanted to do tasks that involved puzzles. And, after I did a couple of puzzles, it's like, wait, there's more puzzles and there's more puzzles. And so it's not something you can just pop in and pop out of, but it's not because it's necessarily complicated or it's going to cause too much of a challenge to get this done. So, but it's a fun little game, sorting, that takes you through a tutorial, a demo, which is a practical demo in the sense of it gets you to do things. so you feel like you can have some efficacy when you get to doing the puzzles and doing the different things that are in there. And then it has a variety of things to do within the app itself, past that you can choose to work with. And I just like the bony fingers, and the other things that are part of that equipment and part of that setup. It was giving me warnings that I had a bad, a bad. My hand was kind of out of place in terms of where it was going to be visually effective to do what it was going to do, because I was doing everything with my right hand, and
Ah,
and my left hand was sitting by my side, and it kept telling me your left hand's not doing anything. But it's a fun game. It's $9. I think comments are it was well worth it. I would say if you wanted to spend $10, that would be a very cool way to do it. So yeah, that's unless you guys have anything else new apps wise, we'll have the links for Retrocade and also Hand Physics Lab in the show. And I think we've come to a wrap. Just a reminder that you can follow us live at youtube.com/@visionprofiles Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or catch us, as many do, with the video later or on YouTube, or the audio on any good podcatcher service. We had some fun folks in the chat room. Cletus, thank you. Craig, Stephen, all joining us, all having conversation going on about what we're talking about and what they're interested in, and trying to be responsive to what their questions were as much as we could. But thank you for being with us and taking this hour or so with us of your time to enjoy the show. So let's go. Let's figure out. Let's start with Dave. Where can we find you?
Well, you can find me at In Touch with iOS, intouchwithios.com. YouTube channel is youtube.com/intouchwithios. Here on Mondays with Vision Profiles. On Tuesdays, I'm on Mac Voices Live with gang here and others, Chuck Joyner. Thursday, we record In Touch with iOS, 7 p.m. East Central and 5 p.m. Pacific. And then on Fridays, most weeks, I'm on the Mac Show on the British Tech Network. And you can find me on Blue Sky, Mastodon, Dave G65.
That would be you, Eric.
I can be found on Mass. See, I got it earlier in the show. I was getting it.
You
twice
did.
in one
You
show,
hit
that's
your
why.
mark at the beginning. This is the first time, 91 shows. You were right on your mark.
Used it all up at the beginning. So I can be found on Mastodon at EA Bolden at mes.to. Otherwise, Mondays here on Vision Profiles, Tuesdays on Mac Voices Live, and Thursdays on In Touch with iOS. Kind of progressing from Vision OS to Mac to iPhone, iPad, and whatever other news.
And I
throughout the week.
forgot. Okay, great. I'm Marty Gensius. You can find me here, Vision Profiles, Monday night, 9 p.m. Also on Chuck Joyner's show with Dave and Eric, Mac Voices, on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And then Thursdays with Dave on In Touch with iOS on 8 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube. And then occasionally, most occasionally, more than occasionally, on the Mac Show on Friday mornings on the British Tech Network. All the stuff that I do is on thepodtalk.net. And there are other shows, too many to mention. Having a great time doing this. And I'll tell you, there's an addiction to it. And you guys, it's your fault, you two guys, because I cannot. Every time I finish this, it's like I'm so appreciative of both of you using your brain power and kind of supporting this idea, this podcast. And you set aside time to come in here, and Daniel comes in and joins us. every other time. And I just feel so touched that you guys do that. And it's like, man, it's so cool to have this connection in this community. So thank you for that. Again, our website is thepodtalk.net. You can email us at thepodtalknetwork@gmail.com. Our bumper music is Free Jazzy by Steve Combs, courtesy of the Free Music Archive. Thanks for all folks who joined us. Spread the word to other visionaries. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.